The hammer's caught on the rod, which is furthest that way. It's a rush now to get it in as fast as they possibly can. These aren't really ideal conditions, are they, with all these waves? Or?
It's a little rough. It's going to be interesting.
The longer they fight for, it's not that good. So they want to get it in as quick as possible. It's big. Mike. Pull. Not exactly what I was expecting.
As an environmental journalist with a background in shark science, I've come to Florida to explore one of the most controversial ocean sports, catch and release shark fishing. All across the state, thousands of fishermen are looking for the one big catch. And the big prize is the great hammerhead. Although critically endangered, it is a perfectly legal practice in the US. Great hammerhead sharks can weigh over 500 pounds, and they use their distinctive hammer-shaped heads not only to detect prey through specialised electroreceptors, but also to pin prey to the sea floor with precision. Unfortunately, due to overfishing, the population of this remarkable predator is now in steep decline. Within hours of touching down, we get a call from the beach.
Basically, are we filming now? We've just pretty much got off a plane in Fort Lauderdale. We are massively jet lagged, but we've come straight out to go and visit my friend Hammerhead, who is founder of American Shark Conservancy. It is pitch black. We're going to be here all through the night because she's watching some fishermen who are catching sharks, because she's running a survey to see whether or not these sharks are surviving when they're re-releasing. Because right now there's a little bit of a debate on as to how many sharks these fishermen should be allowed to catch and whether or not any of these sharks are actually able to survive afterwards. Shark? Have they got a shark? Oh, okay, I don't need to run, it came off. So apparently fishermen have already caught a bull shark, which for them is actually legal catch. So they've since used that and it's now bait.
Shark anglers will often catch smaller shark species as bait for the hammerheads.
Yeah. I was like running the other way, like, where are we going? Where are we going? Where's the shark? What's happening?
Hannah is running the study as the founder of the American Shark Conservancy.
We have a growing industry here for recreational shark fishing from the beach. And there's a lot of controversy and misinformation out there about it, about the sport itself. So our project is sort of looking at the impacts of this fishery because there's just absolutely nothing known about it.
So right now it's like basically people you've already know, is it? Fisherman wise, you've worked with these guys for a while now, right?
Yeah, almost a year with one group who've been awesome. They've been doing it for over a decade.
Yeah.
They're too young to do that. I was trying to do the math and I was like, how is that possible? But they've all been doing it since they were like 12 and 13.
Okay.
They've already been kind of like bashed by the public.
Yeah.
And not all of them are bad players. There are some that are pretty sketchy with their behaviors and stuff, but not all of them are like that.
I mean, at the end of the day, this is a sport that they want to keep doing. And the only way that you can keep it going is to know that you're catching a sustainable amount.
Yeah.
So,
and doing it the right way. We record the type of bait, the gear that they use. We record when they drop the bait in, when there's a strike on the bait, when the fish is landed, and when the fish is released. Then what we do is we deploy a short-term satellite tag. So very little, but very expensive.
I was looking at that. That looks like quite a fancy one, really.
So it's short-term, so it only lasts 30 days. And the whole idea is it pops off if the fish stays at a consistent depth for 3 days.
Right.
That, with these highly mobile animals, that's indication that it's probably dead. So that's considered a mortality. We don't get to know exactly its track,
But you can see if the fishing itself may have led to the mortality, if there is one.
Yes.
Do they get the photo with it? Or?
Some of them do, but some of them have a team that is doing that while someone else is cutting the hook. So just like, I mean...
So it's like a in the moment photo rather than the classic...
Some of them don't, for sure.
I mean, the temptation must be there if you've worked your ass off to get this shark in, because they do fight a lot, don't they? And that, but that for the hammers...
is their sport.
Yeah, and for hammers, that also is their problem though, isn't it? Because they do fight a lot and they get really, really tired, and they aren't able to sit on the bottom and pump water over their gills. They have to keep swimming, so it'd be interesting. Is that, what is that? Is that the leftover of the shark?
Yeah. So this is a legally harvested species.
So this was a bull shark?
Yeah.
So the meat has now gone in as bait, right? The meat's gone in as bait. So will this will do them all night, will it? Or?
No, they've already used a couple of other pieces of bait.
Although it looks rather gruesome, sharks actually have a habit of predating on each other. So harvesting other shark species for hammerhead bait is not only common practice, but it's preferred. The fishermen are out in all conditions night after night. US recreational anglers are estimated to catch 6% of the world's sharks annually. That's a huge untapped source of data. With oceans changing so rapidly, surely it makes sense to work with them to turn these catches into something we can learn from.
Get your rod!
What just happened is the line actually went off, reel made a load of noise, we all got excited, and then it snapped with the line. So there's a shark swimming around with a big ass bit of line in its mouth.
Sharks with fishing gear caught in their mouth is a common theme, and is just one of the reasons activists want to ban the sport. Like shark fanatic Jim Abernathy. He is the leading campaigner against shark fishing. Jim has an unusual relationship with these animals, and in the world of social media and public perception, he's attracting a lot of attention.
Well, I've been diving with sharks, I don't even want to say that, 52 years?
Wow.
I started diving at the age of 9, and because I truly love sharks, I thought that this is my calling. This is why I'm here on the planet. I'm here to save sharks. And in probably early 2000, or maybe even 99, that I ran into a one-eyed lemon shark. This shark swam in and it had this huge shark hook through its top jaw, all the way through. I thought, how can I help this shark? And I got this crazy idea. I wonder if sharks are like dogs. I wonder if I could make friends with this shark in order to draw it in close to my head and see the hook and figure out how to get it out. Within 2 hours of rubbing this shark's head, just like a dog, as well as training it on a hand signal. This means, do you want your head rubbed? I pulled the shark while I'm rubbing its head all the way up to my face so I could look at the hook and figure out how.
Right there, right by your face as well.
Yeah. And I pushed the hook in to get past the barb and flip it upside down. And when I thought that I could do it, I tried it. I got it in the first pull. And that shark is still swimming around with me today. I now knew that I could help all the sharks. And by making friends with them, which does involve touching them, which a lot of people condemn, I'm removing almost a hook a week now because they're so friendly around people. They just want their head rubbed. Now, if you look at what is accepted, for example, the longline fishing industry alone puts enough hooks on a daily basis to circumnavigate the globe 52 times. Every animal in the ocean is going to die from longline fishing if we don't condemn it and get rid of it. And some of them, the worst ones, are the land-based shark fishermen. And the reason I say that they're the worst ones is because some species, like the hammerhead, won't survive the fight. Even though it is released alive, it's usually found on the beach dead the next day. So far, I've personally seen 7 great hammerheads dead. This is a critically endangered animal that we are allowing a sport to take the shark and pull it out of the water, take their Instagram pictures and then release it. And it does swim away, but the next day it's dead. There are those that don't give a damn. And they're going to kill the shark and take a picture and, post it on Instagram or Facebook. And those fishermen are a waste of my time.
We've spoken to a couple of different groups of fishermen and individually. And one thing that all of them seem to back up, there's plenty of sharks around. And especially black-tip sharks, they were quite plentiful in their opinion. How does that fit with your observations of what you've seen?
From visual observation, black-tip population, which was the one that these scientists hung their hat on for, we can manage them. However, in just the last year or two, the scientists said that 77% of the sharks are gone, black tips specifically. So to me, it seems strange that we're still talking about managing these for conservation. The truth is, if they're going to try to manage it, this is a last-ditch effort for preservation. Conservation failed a long time ago.
Yeah. I'm not quite sure I see any sharks as friends myself, but it is clear that these are intelligent, sentient beings and in need of protection. Although these shark populations are managed by the government as stock, there is currently no accurate data on this practice or the implications of it. If Hannah and her team are able to fit tags to the caught sharks, this data could be used to improve legislation and also the survival rate of the species. Data she would not be able to collect without the collaboration of the anglers here. Before I start my next night fishing stint, I am meeting Dan Tabatabai. He has been a part of this community since he was in his early teens. After gaining popularity on internet forums, he is now known throughout Florida as one of the go-to experts on this sport. He was also one of the first fishermen to give Hannah access to his catches.
Dan, are we alright to have a quick chat? Are you alright with it?
On camera?
On camera?
Let me change real quick.
Are you sure? You were trying to look smarter.
What do you guys want to know?
Well, I don't really actually know anything about land-based shark fishing.
So it's been around a pretty long time, more than most people would know about. In probably the early 2000s, there were not many people doing it. Pretty much everyone knew each other. There was almost nothing on the internet about it. And now that, social media has grown,
So is this.
it's now a pretty popular thing to do now. I grew up boat fishing, and I would always see sharks on the boat. I never would thought, I was standing on the beach, I'd be catching them one day. And for me, it's different. You have to know the migrational patterns. You have to follow them all around the state sometimes, know when and where they're going to be.
It's pretty technical.
Yeah. I mean, the guys that are really good at it, that are consistently catching, sharks, especially different types of sharks, like you can target certain species depending on the time of year. Basically, when you're, shark fishing, the first thing you should learn is how to reassemble the food chain. So you start from the beginning, right? And basically, how we figure out the hammerheads around, the big ones, is we figure out these little crabs. We call them past crabs. They're like miniature blue crabs. We figure out when they're spawning. And then the tarpon will come by the thousands and feed on them.
Right.
And what eats the tarpon is the giant hammerheads. So we know when we see the crab, we see the tarpon eating the crabs, we know what else is going to be there. So like right now we're fishing here because we know the black-tip shark migration, it just started. Those hammerheads just follow those giant schools of black-tips looking to eat them.
So would you say in terms of shark fishing, a hammerhead's like up there as...
It is one of the most apex hunters of the shark species in my opinion. They are excellent hunters. They are by far the strongest, the most agile sharks. They can turn on a dime, and for a sport fishing aspect, it's what you want. You can catch pretty much any shark in the ocean on a reel half that size.
That is a large reel as well, isn't it?
That is just for the hammerheads, pretty much.
Because that's expensive kit, right?
It is very expensive. To get into this sport, it is very expensive if you want to do it right. A main issue I talk about a lot is with this sport, depending on what you want to do, You either have to go all or nothing, because what you'll see happen is a lot of guys will spend a couple $100s on inferior equipment, and they'll come to the beach and they'll catch, they might catch sharks, but this is like a winch, and you need it. Some of those hammerheads will fight for 40 minutes,
Yeah.
and it's a real battle. But on smaller equipment, it can take hours, and at that point, you know, you have a high probability of killing that shark. As a sport fisherman, I believe in respecting the environment, the ocean, the animals in it, and obviously it won't always go your way.
Yeah.
But that's the nature of the sport. You want to maximize your effort trying to properly release, and you shouldn't be in the sport if you're catching hammerheads and leaving them on the beach dead. That shouldn't be a thing, but it is.
Yeah.
And you know, some guys aren't doing it on purpose, but they're using improper gear. They're keeping the shark on the beach for pictures, stuff like that. If we catch one tonight, you'll see, you know, we have a very fast fight time from when the shark's out there to when it hits the sand. Then we're going to get the hook out, stick a tag, and it's going to be gone. And it's a relatively quick process that maximizes the shark's ability to swim away.
Like all sharks, hammerheads cannot survive for long out of the water. Their gills collapse and lose surface area, reducing their ability to absorb oxygen, meaning that if they are released too slowly, they can die on release or in the hours afterwards. Conservation-minded fishermen like Dan are key to minimising this risk. They understand that giving Hannah the chance to track and record what happens post-release could increase the chances of longevity in the sport that they love. As the evening passes, Dan does catch something, a lemon shark. Although impressive to me, for a fisherman as skillful as Dan, it is not tonight's target species.
A successful quick release clearly shows how this sport can be done with the least amount of stress for the animal as possible.
But lemon sharks are very different to great hammerheads. Not only are they much bigger and stronger, but hammerheads are more vulnerable to fishing as they have to swim to breathe. It would take a huge amount of experience to take on such an animal,
And to release it in a way that was effective and allow the hammerhead to keep swimming.
With time running out, I have all but given up on witnessing this sport at its most volatile. Then, Hannah gets a call. We meet an eager, less experienced group of teenage fishermen. But as we hit midnight, just as conditions worsen to a point that would challenge even the most skilled in the sport, they get a bite.
Woo! It's a hammer!
I think it would be an unfair representation, potentially, although I don't know because I haven't spent a whole year out there, but I get the feeling it would be an unfair representation of the industry, what we saw. The hammer's caught on the rod, which is furthest that way. It's a rush now to get it in as fast as they possibly can. The longer they fight for, it's not that good. So they want to get it in as quick as possible. Are you nervous a little bit for when it comes?
I'm kind of nervous because I'm waiting on this, trying to do this for a while.
Yeah.
I'm out here right now that can land a big fish, so we'll see.
So this could be like a bit outside of all three of your comfort zones if it's massive, basically.
It'll definitely be outside, but we'll get it done.
Yeah. I didn't realise before doing this that quite a lot of the fishermen start young, and so are minors. And for that reason, that's something that I wouldn't really want to put their lives in jeopardy over something visually that doesn't look that attractive. Ooh. Can you hear the line? That's actually the line. That's the line going out when it's making that noise. They've kind of got a compromise between letting it swim off and tiring itself out and then being able to wind it back in. If they wind it back in all the time and don't let it run, it can snap the line, which is the worst thing that could happen for them at this point in time. What's the most frightening thing right now? The idea of getting pulled in, or the idea of it getting out after all of this?
The idea of the hook pulling or the line breaking.
Yeah.
We don't want to lose it.
Ideally, you want to see what you've got on the end of it.
Yeah, that's a lot more really.
After 40 minutes of constant reeling, I can tell they are struggling.
These aren't really ideal conditions, are they, with all these waves? Or?
It's going to be interesting.
Then, one of the largest hammerheads I have ever seen appears in the surf.
Hell.
It's now a race against the clock for these guys to get the hook out. Hannah must get the tag in without affecting the process. But with the change of tide and high swells, things start to unravel.
I think anybody outside of the fishing industry are going to struggle to understand why anybody would want to hook an animal of that size and bring it inland.
Even with that desire and passion for the sport, an animal of this size is far beyond their capabilities,
Where the hell is your cutter?
and panic starts to set in.
Where is your cutter? This is not ideal conditions.
And for Hannah, the conditions are so bad that she is struggling to get the tag in safely.
So Hannah's just trying to get that in as quick as she absolutely can. I've got a couple already, to be honest, mate.
Unbelievably, with all the mayhem around them, they still want that all-important proof of their catch.
Oh, can't really say the picture's my main priority.
Tag fitted, it's now time to successfully release the shark. But with the size of the swell and the size of the hammerhead, they're struggling once again. As real-time science is being collected here, I'm not supposed to get involved. But with every minute, I'm finding it harder and harder to stay back.
Hannah, do you need a hand? Shall I just get this shit off so I can help? Right, I'm getting it off. Mate. Pull, pull, pull! Not exactly what I was expecting. No matter how much of a shock it was to see that fishing technique, and literally everything was against them in terms of weather and everything else. This is already happening. It's not going to be banned, it's already happening, so why not work with the fishermen to make sure that the shark has the absolute best chance of survival.
After 2 days, the tag on the shark went dormant, indicating that the individual was no longer swimming and did not survive. Whilst the level of mortality in all catch and release industries is expected, witnessing this was still one of the most harrowing situations I've experienced in the field. To research sharks, you often have to catch them. Unlike scientists who are limited by funding and time constraints, we know that catch and release shark anglers are out here regularly and in large numbers. If scientists can work with these anglers, it could be a valuable asset for marine conservation. The reality is, the more we know, the better we can protect wildlife. But without tighter regulation and education, more critically vulnerable individuals like this one will be at risk. Between 2018 and 2023, Hannah and her team, in collaboration with anglers like Dan, satellite tagged 23 great hammerhead sharks. Despite concerns about the impact of catch and release sport fishing, the study found a surprisingly low mortality rate. 19 sharks survived, 3 tags malfunctioned, but only the one individual that we filmed was confirmed dead. Before this project, no accurate data existed on catch and release mortality for great hammerheads in this area. Now, 2 scientific papers have been published, with a 3rd in progress. And the findings have helped Florida Fish and Wildlife improve training and permit models to better protect the species. Although prominent conservationists like Jim have campaigned to ban this sport, it remains both legal and popular, with over 14,000 anglers participating each season. Not all anglers are as ethical as others though, so Hannah and her team are continuing to collaborate with fishermen to collect more data to make these encounters as beneficial as possible for ocean conservation. That's why Hannah's work is critical. It highlights the current practices, the good, the bad, and the ugly, so that fishermen can improve. Tracking how sharks behave and survive after release provides this crucial data which could transform the sport and improve survival rates for one of the ocean's most vulnerable species.